Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 34 of our Voices of Strength series. Our Voices of Strength series, we are highlighting police homicide victims from across the country, people who have been killed by law enforcement in the United States of America, and we feature their families. So their families can come on and share the true stories behind the killings of their loved ones at the hands of law enforcement. We are doing episode 34. And we have the mother of Gabby Nevarez here, who was killed by Citrus Heights PD in California. And Mom, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
My name is Frances Nevarez, and I'm the mother of Gabriella, Gabby Nevarez, who was 22 years old. She was born November 25th, 1991, and she was shot and killed on March 2nd, 2014. She was killed by Sergeant Jason Baldwin and Officer Alexi Finopoulos of the Citrus Heights Police Department. They shot her 17 times. I don't understand how they could have felt so threatened by an unarmed woman that was surrendering with both of her arms up. It's truly frustrating to see the rate of our people that are being killed on the daily around the world, strictly by police brutality and racial injustice. Gabby left behind a son who was only 3 years old, 2.5, 3 years old when she was murdered. He's 11 years old now. Gabby was only 22 years old when she was taken from us. She loved her music, her art and her poetry, but most of all, she loved Vincent, her son. So on the morning of March 2nd, 2014, Gabby, so let me start this first. Gabriella she was bipolar, and she had severe depression and anxiety. So she suffered from mental illness. And that morning, she had gotten into an argument with my mother. And at that time, unfortunately, I was away in federal prison in Pennsylvania, so I wasn't there. My mother had left my cars at my mother's house because so she could have a car to use, and so she could store them there as well. But so Gabby had gotten to an argument with my mom, and it was a known fact that if Gabby and I or anybody, she got into an argument, she was always able to take one of my cars and go cool down. And she always came back. It was never an issue. So when Gabby took off in my car, my mom had called the police, and she notified them that she was, bipolar and having a mental episode, and that she needed them to help bring the car back. And the police officers located her by the low jack in the Lexus, and Gabby did take them on a high-speed chase. The police she was going like 70 miles per hour. That was the max on her speeds. So when she was talking to her girlfriend as well, the whole entire time of this high-speed chase. Now, the high-speed chase was a very small high-speed chase, mind you. It was from Madison to, what is that street? Sunset. So it wasn't a very big, car chase. Nonetheless, it was a car chase though. When she did pull into the apartments. It was a one-way in, one-way out. And the police were telling her, get out of the car with your hands up. Gabby was doing that. And there was several people outside of their apartment witnessing. I've spoken to probably all of them in the apartments. And they've all told me the same exact thing. Gabby did get out like they asked her to, surrender with your hands up. And she did just that. She must have gotten out with her foot, one of her feet on the brakes, and left the car in drive. Probably just all in like the heat of the moment, just wasn't thinking to throw it into park. And when she got out, the police opened fire on her. They pumped my daughter, which was 123 pounds, soaking wet. 17 bullets penetrated her body, and every single bullet was a kill shot. Every single bullet. When I got the binder from the lawyer, which was actually from the police, it had the autopsy report, and it has the body where all from the coroner, where all the bullets penetrated my daughter's body. And
My
every single
goodness.
one, yeah, it was just sickening. Because like, why, if you're going to
My
disable,
gosh.
if you're going to disable somebody, disable them, use a stun gun. There's so many other ways, but she was so far from them. Why did you feel so threatened when she's getting out with her hands up, surrendering? I just don't
Yeah.
get that. I just don't get it.
Yeah. And like, since when the hell do the police want to do high-speed chases over someone being mad and taking their grandmother's car, even if that were the damn case? Like, they are putting so many lives in danger. It's not necessary. They could find that person later.
And not just that, Citrus Heights Police Department were not in their jurisdiction. That was the sheriff's jurisdiction. So they were out of bounds there as well. And it's it's a known thing, sheriffs and Citrus Heights PD, they all funk. Well, not that they funk, but they don't really care for each other. It's just it was just insane that they went into another jurisdiction. I thought it was against the law or something where they're not supposed to, when it's a high-speed chase or something like that, they're not supposed to chase them into.
They're supposed to stay in their jurisdiction. So there's just, did you get, okay, I was going to say there's so many flaws, but have you gotten body cams? Is there, what I want to say too, like, what proof have they shown that, Gabby did anything? Have they showed any proof, or is it just always their word?
No proof. They've shown no proof. It was just their word. There was pretty much just their word.
As usual.
Totally as usual. It's like they think that it's okay for them to just go out and shoot our people and think that it's okay time and time and time and time again. But yet, if we were to go out and do something like this, we're going to get buried under the jail. It's just insane. It doesn't make sense. And what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And they're just completely wrong. What causes somebody to shoot a person 17 times? That's overkill. There's no reason. You can't give me not one reason that's going to change my mind. And that's murder.
Yeah. And then, so I want to point also to the fact that, no body cams. I'm going to have you in a second also repeat the narrative that they released, their initial narrative, what they told the community. And then the fact that witnesses' statements that seen it, they deferred from what the police said. So you knew that. So if you could share the narrative they released about your daughter, and then just also repeat, for the people listening, what the witnesses said, please.
Okay, so the narrative that the police released on my daughter was that at first she was a black male that stole a car and was on a high-speed chase going a very high speeds, over 70 miles per hour. And she was basically playing bumper cars and hitting the police cars with my car, the Lexus that she was driving, and that she took him on a very lengthy high speed chase. And what else was there? And that she wouldn't surrender. And what else was there? And they believed that she was armed and dangerous. And then they changed and said that she was armed and dangerous with a vehicle. And that's why they shot her.
Wow.
Yeah.
They are freaking pathetic.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Disgusting. They're disgusting.
And then it just goes past that. It's not just the police who killed, it's their superiors and all of them who are helping in this cover up.
Right.
All of them. Okay, go ahead and continue.
Okay. And then so the people the witnesses, that these are eyewitnesses, mind you, that actually saw close up, videoed, real lifetime video, and we're right there. And they said that my daughter obeyed every command that they said. Get out with your hands up. My daughter did that just exactly as they said to. She didn't stall or anything. And, she, like I said before, she must have, just being, I guess, her adrenaline going. So, just in the heat of the moment, she must have forgotten to put the car into park, and had her foot on the brake still, and had half, 1 foot on the ground out of the car and one on the brake, and had her hands up. And when she got out, they just opened fire on her. Riddled her with bullets.
Gosh. Yeah.
For no reason. My daughter was lesbian. So, she looked like a male, but they the whole entire time they thought she was a male, even though my mother told them it was a female and she was unarmed. The government, like you said, all their superiors, they should be ashamed of themselves for covering up on these cops for murder, all these murders that keep taking place. The government and all these higher ups that are covering up and and doing all this, shame on them, because these are lives, valuable lives. These are fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, cousins, aunties, uncles, and life is precious. It's valuable, and it's like like I said earlier, it's like the government wants to depopulate the world. This COVID thing going on, the vaccinations, the wars, the food and toilet paper, there's not enough of. It's all kinds of stuff, but it all comes together. It all comes together.
Yeah. Thank you for all of that. And for people that are watching that last image that we ended with, thank you. I had mother's approval for the photos, and so many beautiful photos and memories. You see her loving on her son, family, friends. And then the end, I kept it there for a little longer, just so people could really see that reality that you've had to live through. No kid, no mother should ever have to bury their child, especially not at the hands of people we pay, the US government, these damn police. That's the last thing.
Yeah. You know, these police, they have to be held accountable. It's like these, you know, I don't understand why lives in Minnesota or what was it, Florida, are more valued, you know, more valuable than they are here in California. You know, with Trayvon Martin, he, you know, I'm not saying his life is not valuable. Absolutely, that's not what I'm saying. So I hope nobody gets my words twisted. What I'm saying is, you know, why can't all of our families get justice? You know, it wasn't Trayvon Martin, but I was saying basically like George Floyd, you know, his family got a little bit of justice. All the police officers who have had a hand in murdering somebody, they need to be held accountable, period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. And I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but something has to happen eventually. One day, all of our cases will and need to be looked into, whether it happened yesterday or 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. All of our cases need that respect to be open, like in a thorough investigation, not by the police and their, you know, the people around the corner who are going to kill later and get investigated. They're going to investigate each other. That is ridiculous.
Exactly.
And I understand what you're saying about, you know, some people getting justice, and, you know, it's like it's almost like it's a mockery of it.
Choose.
Yeah, and it's a mockery of all the people and the victims, and they want to show the world, hey, you guys, we're giving justice. That's not justice. Giving one person out of thousands, that's not justice. That's disrespect.
Exactly. It's like a spit in my face.
And you
it's
know,
not even me. It's my child's.
Yes.
It's my grandson's. It's complete utter disrespect. And how dare you?
And they throw it like, hey, be happy. Be happy. We keep hearing it's a start. It's a start. No, we need more than that.
Right. What's a start is all of us who have been impacted by police brutality and racial injustice, all of us banding together, all the states, and start rallying up together and going against the government. And see what are you guys going to do then? You guys probably won't have enough manpower to stop us. So then what are you going to do then?
Yeah. And you know, that's what they don't want. Why, you know, I wanted to do these shows to get these true stories out, get the truth out. So people, you know, one day they will listen and people will remember Gabby's story, and hey, like, oh shit, that was people that believed it, you know, that wasn't true. Oh, wow. It's so many. And then the problem also is that the media, these news outlets that are putting out the false narrative of our loved ones, they don't make it right. They don't correct it, even if we try to get them to.
Never. I wrote the Sacramento Bee, the guy that actually wrote the story on my daughter. He wouldn't at all. And he basically told me, you know, F you in so many words,
wow.
You know, and I was just like, I was so turned off. And after that, I was just like, I'm never reading the Sacramento Bee. I don't trust the news stations. One news station I do trust, and the one news anchor is Rowena from Fox. Is she Fox 40? Yeah, Fox 40. Rowena. She tells the truth, because she did tell my daughter's story, and she told it fact for fact what I told her. So I trust her.
That's good. It's always good to hear when there is somebody that is repeating it and, being the journalist and not just repeating, an actual journalist, not just repeating what the false narrative from
Right,
the killers
right,
themselves.
exactly. Or just doing what their oh my gosh, their boss is telling them,
Yeah.
oh, you have to say this, not that.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not right. It's
It's
not right at
not.
all.
It's not. Definitely need more people telling the real stories and the
Yeah,
family sides. So
yeah.
what happened after everything happened? What was the I know, it's been some time. What was the process and where are you guys at now? Have there been any updates? And I know, but for people watching, if there's been any justice, that's what people always want to ask. Your experience, what you've gotten.
So as of today, there has been no justice. I tried to, just participate in as many rallies, um, as many things that are going on, I try to attend. If there's an impacted family, if I can attend, I do try to, and support. Um, no justice. I'll fight until my last breath in me, and even if it doesn't come when I'm here, I know her son, Vincent, will still fight for justice for his mom. Um, yeah, he will. He
Um,
will.
can you tell us some more about Vincent and Gabby as a mother? He was so young. He was so young.
Yeah.
So they had a short time together. That's something we highlight on this show is that there are parents being taken from their children. So,
Um, yeah, Gabby had a short time with him, but she was such an awesome mom. She really loved him a lot. She she always made sure, he had all the fly stuff.
mm,
He she was really close with her dad. And if you look at her, you're looking at her dad. And if you look at Vincent, you're looking at her. So it's like a little triplet effect. Um, it's just crazy how much, Vincent is going to miss out with his mom, because I just know how good of a mom she was going to be just from the beginning. She, from the time that we found out she was pregnant, it was just, she knew she was keeping that baby. Um, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. And she was just so proud of him. He was her everything. He was literally her world. And she would have done anything and everything, just like a mama would do. But she was just probably extra protective of him. She really loved him a lot, a whole lot.
gosh. And you said he's 11 now?
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard looking at the kids, knowing what they lost, and especially your daughter and how she was as a parent, that you
Mhm.
got to be there, and I mean you got to witness that. So it's hard. The kids, like, how are they supposed to grow up in this place where cops are everywhere? They're everywhere. They're involved in everything, the schools, the churches. I was sick recently. I went to the ER. Why are the cops there? Why are they walking in the back like they can? I can't walk in
Yeah.
the back.
Right.
It's just sick. And I know how I feel when I see these cops and the kids going to their schools and stuff. It's bad.
My grandson, I know when he sees them, he recently told me, he was like, Nani, I don't really like when the cops are around. They give me anxiety. I was like, what do you mean anxiety? What does that mean? I know what it means. He was like, it gives me really stressed out. It gives me like, I get tense. So 11 years old, you're getting anxiety, stress, and tense from cops being on the side of the car from us. That's crazy. That's sad. And that's an effect from a direct effect of what the cops did to his mother.
Yeah. So is he pretty aware of what happened?
Oh yeah. He's definitely aware.
Yeah.
Like I take him to some things like, if there's unity in the community, or like recently I just did a docu-series, and I took, not a docu-series, I went and did, what did we do? We did something, but we took him with us. And, we try to spend time with him and take him to stuff, when it's pertaining to his mom.
Yeah.
He lights up. He likes that. He really, really likes it.
Good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Keep him involved. I want to ask, since he was so young when it happened, was there a certain age that you guys began to share, or did he always just know from a young age, cops
He
killed
always,
mommy?
yeah, he always knew from a young age. From
Yeah,
that,
and
from that day,
that day,
he knew. Yeah.
and I know, being that it happened to my family, I expected that to be your answer. Um, I wanted to ask it and also help put it into perspective for people watching. This is not something we can hide from these children.
No, because, mommy or daddy was there literally just that morning, but they're not there ever again. So what do you tell that child? You have to be upfront and honest, because they're not going to trust you if you're not honest with them. That's what we as their protectors have to do, is keep that open line of honesty and
They deserve to know the truth.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
we really need more for the kids. Like, there's no help out there. There's no support. If there is, it's usually families doing stuff for each other. Maybe,
Yeah,
small groups of people support. It's just hard.
you're right. You're right. My dream is to just open something up in my daughter's memory, and leave it for her son. That's just, if I can do that before, I leave this earth, that's all I want to do. Just, open something up that's going to commemorate her life and legacy, and be able to leave that for her son. And, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and I just want to say all the families, because we got families that watch us some week after week, and then everybody that's doing something, your daughter, you're going out and connecting with people, you're telling her story, you're still telling her story. Um, I commend everybody that is doing that still. And it also encourages other families to do the same thing, to speak up. Some families that haven't ever maybe had the chance to speak have, to me, just while doing the show and Voice of Strength, I've met them. People are wanting to share and being encouraged by seeing all the other families speaking on the show. So, they're ready to share. So I want to
Yeah,
share that too.
it really helps a lot when you start opening up and sharing. It helps with the healing. Because, for a long time, I was in a really dark place, and um, I didn't want to share nothing, and I didn't want to really talk about it too much. And I was just really, like I said, in a dark place, and I wasn't, going out in the community, and I wasn't being involved in anything. But it took a lot of therapy, and it took a lot for me to get here. But I'm glad I'm finally here and able to start, putting my boots down to the pavement,
Yeah.
and, getting stuff done, because she
Yeah.
deserves that. They all deserve that. They all deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for mentioning just your struggle. Like that, so many people can relate to that. So many people can relate to not even being able to, and I think it's important for people to seek, that extra help, and not just for the parents, but, for the children, to all the families. If
Yeah.
people need that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Therapy that was the best decision I ever made for my life. Um, I think everybody could use a little therapy, for their everyday life. But after this, when I lost Gabby, it turned me upside down, around, inside out, and then some. I never would have thought that I would have lost a child. When I got that call, um, I still remember that. I'll still get messages from like some of the COs, like they'll message me on Facebook or something, or some of the ladies that I was, down with, and they'll just say, like, when it's her anniversary, I will never forget the wails and the cries that came from your cell. And I want to, just say, that I'm so proud of how far you've come and your fight for Gabby, because I really, really was so in just such a dark place. But like I said, like my fight will never stop, never stop. Not for her, not for all of the other people who have been impacted by police violence and brutality, racial injustice, all of that.
Gosh, it's hard to listen to. Every family that comes on, it's hard to hear those details, and you took it back to the moment, when you first heard. We talk about that on here, the extremes, and when we first find out, it's something you don't ever expect your own child, especially. People need
No,
to people need to hear this.
that that was I thought it was my grandma. My cousin called me, and I knew something had happened, but I didn't know what. I knew it was bad. My cousin, she's like my sister. I'm an only child, so her and I are very close. She's like my sister. And when she got on the phone, she just said, Franny, she's gone. I'm so sorry. And I just was like, who? My grandma? And she said, no, Gabby. They shot her. And I just remember I slumped, and the sergeant and the warden like had to pick me up. And like they took me out of like general population and everything. They put me in this suicide cell where they took all my clothes, no toilet paper, no, I had a turtle suit on that, you know, literally camera in there because they thought I was going to kill myself. And like I explained to them, I was like, I'm not suicidal. I'm homicidal. Like, you guys don't get that. I'm not suicidal. I don't want to kill myself. I have 2 other kids and a grandchild. I don't want to do that to my kids, but I do want to kill some cops, I do want to do that.
Yeah.
So God, I truly, truly, truly believe that God had me in there for that reason. Because I can honestly say that if I was not in there at that moment, I would have been for murder.
Yeah.
Honest. I'm 100% honest. I'm being as transparent as possible. Yeah. I was blessed to come home on a writ and lay my daughter to rest, though. So that was a blessing. They gave me 6 days and 5 nights.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm happy you're being transparent. I have a mother that recently, I've known her for years now, and she's like, Marissa, I can't come on. I want to come on and say that I want to kill cops. And I said, hey, that's okay. Like, if that's how you feel, you're not actually out there doing it, but it's okay to feel like that. Like, we're not wrong for feeling these things, and they murdered our people.
Exactly.
So, and one thing I've said more recently even is, there are going to eventually be those people who everybody says, if that was my loved one, I would go do that, but not everybody can or will, or they have other children. There's factors, but there are people that will. So I believe you when you say that's why you were locked down at that time.
Yep. I know without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, God had me there because of that, and, like when the judge let me come home, I gave him my word that I would come back on my writ, all you gotta have is your word, your word is your bond. If you don't have your word, you don't have nothing. So I came back on my writ and finished out my sentence. But when I came out, I was a completely different person, a death of a child or death of a loved one, it really changes you. Death of a child really changed me completely. It did a whole 380 and probably a 1090, whatever that could be. But it really changed me as a person, as a woman, I'm not the same person anymore. I don't have the same friends. I just don't have the same anything anymore. And it's okay. But I just know that all my life consists of now is my fire that I have under my feet and in my heart and soul to get justice for my daughter, Gabi.
Yep.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm really blessed that I have a husband that he supports. He's not Gabi's dad, but we got together after, Gabi passed. But, 7 years in the making now, we're going on 7 years, but he supports me like I've never had any support in my life. He loves me and loves her and loves my kids, grandkids, and supports 1,000,000%. And that's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for.
I think that's so amazing. And just for people watching, I did see your husband at an event recently, and I just thought it was great. He was out there, for your family, representing you and Gabi and showing up for another family. So thanks for sharing that too. That's one thing that happens to people. We lose people. Our life gets rearranged. You see who's down for the ride, who has your back, and sometimes it's not many.
Yep.
But the people that do and that support our fight, those are the ones. Those are the ones we keep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how you think you really you grow up with people and you call them your sisters or your family, and it's like you don't even support, my fight, or my daughter called you auntie, and they grew up with you, and you don't even help, you don't come march, you don't put up a flyer of my baby, you don't post my baby, none of that. And it's just sickening to me.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. I see people for their face value though. And it's okay because I don't need that energy. I don't want that energy. You can keep that over there. I'll pray for you because you can be a better person, and I know you have the potential. So I'm going to continue to pray for them, can love them from afar.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the fact that, hey, this is real and it could happen to you too. It could happen to your son, your loved one, your grandkid one day, whatever it is. No one is exempt. We know this.
No, nobody's exempt. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They think that, oh, it's not going to happen to me, because that was always my mind frame. It'll never happen to one of my kids. Never, ever, ever. But it did. It never, I thought I was exempt. I thought my kids were exempt. But I was completely wrong.
I want to ask, just because there's lots of families that watch, we're getting new families contacting us through Voices of Strength. So many new ones rolling in. Everything you've experienced and been through, is there any advice you'd want, or just some words to share with other families, and then also particularly maybe newer families?
Just stay diligent with the fight for your loved one. Don't give up the faith. Don't give up the fight. When those DAs, the district attorneys, the governor, the councilmen, the police officers, all of them, when they slam their doors in your face, or they don't want to give up information, or they're denying your claims, don't stop. There's always somebody higher up that you can get, there's always somebody that's willing to say yes. So just keep trying, keep pressing forward, keep praying, keep God first, and He will see you through this. He will help you get justice. You will get justice. We will get justice. And I stand in solidarity with all of the families who have been affected.
Yes, thank you.
Always.
It's important. It's important for us to remind each other too, and just really support each other the best we can, even if it's just a comment, sharing other people's posts or call to actions, or loved ones.
Yeah.
It helps. I know it helps for me, and just everybody. For me, even when I talk to new families, or if you remember or you see them post the angel anniversary, it helps when you just go on and leave a comment for that family.
It does. It really does. I went, to Portland, Oregon for, I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it was just like a couple months ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I met some really awesome moms, dads, family members, and we still keep in contact. I got their phone numbers, they got mine, their social medias, all that. Yeah. And we are a little family, that nobody wants to be a part of, but we've been inducted into it. And it's lifelong, it's lifelong, but we're here, we roll until the wheels fall off, and we're going to get justice. I'm claiming it.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you made it out there. I heard of that. I know of that event and families that went out there. It's weird that that's a gathering. We're gathering for this, but we can we just relate. And I don't think the average person would think, hey, there's events for families of the loved ones killed by police, that we're having gathering and events, and then we have groups and different things going on. But we're
There's
growing.
a ton of things going on. Like there's in August 28th,
Mhm.
Washington, call to action. And then we're going to San Diego for another one in from October 28th through September 3rd. So yeah, stuff's getting, we're getting out there.
Yeah. And sadly, it's that there's been so many victims and so many families that are being added. But the thing is that families are now being able to connect faster and learn things faster and get their stories out. I don't know how many more people it's going to take before we have any change, but
yeah, we're going to get change. I'm claiming it. I foresee this. I can see it. I'm seeing it. You say it, you speak it, you think it, and then you can see it and you can obtain it.
Yep.
So, yeah, do that.
Yep. And then, just for the families too, everything you said, and keep raising awareness, keep sharing your loved one, even if no matter anybody thinks that you're doing it too much, or you feel like it. Even some families can only be online. So even if that's the only way you can connect with other families, that's enough.
Right.
If you don't have support in your community, you reach out to the families, they'll give you the support.
Yeah, they will. There's been some awesome families. I met a mother. I hadn't even met the mother, but she heard my story and learned that my daughter left behind a son. She donated to my grandson's trust fund, without even meeting us. But, that just meant a lot to me because, she knew my daughter left behind a son, and we finally met. Now we're just the best of friends. We're the best of friends. But there's some really good-hearted, good people out there that are in our community, and we all are fighting for the same thing. We all want justice where it's due. And like I said, if we were to all band together and make one big rally, literally, what would the government do? I don't think they could go up against us because it would be too many people.
Yeah, absolutely. The people really need to come together, and it's bigger. Like, as me and you spoke before we started recording, it's bigger than just the police killings. There are people like being harmed by the government in different ways.
So many different ways. So many different ways. My husband always says, "Oh, you and your conspiracy theories." No, it's not conspiracy because it's really factual. Like this stuff is really true. You just got to really look it up and see for yourself. But the answers are there. They're definitely there.
Yeah, definitely. So we have a couple minutes left. I wanted to see if we could end this off by just sharing some more about your daughter, some of her her hobbies or just things about her personality. Mom knows her best. So
Okay, so Gabby was she was a total nut. She loved to dance. She loved music. Um, she loved to eat. She had to go every Sunday morning for her menudo. She had to go every Sunday for menudo. Um, her son came first. So, her time was always first with her son. Everything was after. Um, Gabby had sisters. I have two other daughters as well. So at the time, my middle daughter Quincy had just had her firstborn son Marcellus, and so he was just newborn when she had passed. He was just a little dude. So she didn't even get to spend time with him. And she was really close with her sisters, all her sisters, her grandmother on her dad's side. She was just really family oriented. Her favorite holiday was Thanksgiving because, of course, you could eat.
I'm all food
All day. That was her favorite food. If you was cooking for her, she was your best friend. She loved food.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was planning to move to Honduras with her grandma because that's where her grandma's from and she owns property over there. So she was planning to move back over to Honduras with her grandmother. And that didn't get to happen. Yeah. Her dad he's just really taking it really hard still. And her grandma Una they're both really struggling hard still.
Gosh, thank you for mentioning the loved ones, her siblings, how close she was with her loved ones, and that they're still hurt and harmed from this.
Yeah, my especially my daughter Quincy, she because they grew up in the same home. So Quincy is she's real quiet and reserved. So she doesn't really, show her emotions, but I know I see it in her eyes. I see it in her, just everything, she is so hurt and just, it destroyed her when her sister was murdered. Same with my youngest. She just turned 18, but same with her. She just doesn't really like to talk about Gabby a lot, and because it hurts her. And I understand, but like I get manic when like I can be okay and just maybe go. I won't look at a bunch of pictures, but when I'm in a manic state, I get all my pictures out that I have of her, all her letters, all her poems, all her artwork, anything that I have of hers. I'm going through her Instagram pages, her Facebook page, her friends' Facebooks to look at all her pictures and videos. And it just like literally I'll do it for a whole day or 2 days or whatever, 3 days, just so manic. And that's the close I feel close to her like that. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And just every family member handles it differently. Some keep it in, some are lashing out, or everybody's so different.
Yeah. I went through that lashing out.
Yeah. Me too.
I went through that lashing out. For a long time.
Yeah. And it's about your daughter saying keeping it in. A lot of them, the young ones, keeping it in.
Yeah. And that's so it's not good to keep it in, because when it does come out, it's going to come out in such a horrible way. Like it's just going to come out like explode. And that's what I'm really afraid of, for her. But she does have a daughter, and she did name her after her auntie, Gabriella. Yeah. So
How old is
Gabby,
she? How old is the little girl?
she just turned 7. Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah. She just turned 7. Yeah.
nice.
So she got to carry her auntie's name on.
That's
I thought that
beautiful.
was really special that she named her after her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is, and just bringing more life, another life into after such a deep loss. It,
Yeah.
okay, well, Francis, thank you so much for joining and sharing about Gabby with us. Um, for future, if you have anything coming up or anything you need support in, we got you. We'll
Thank you
keep in
so
touch.
much.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and hit or do you have one more word to say?
Oh no, I was just telling you, thank you so much. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yeah.
If you would like, I can, sometime maybe we can meet, and I can give you that binder that I do have from the lawyers or the cops or whoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can give it to you so you can look over it and see, maybe if you see something that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think we're far from each other at all. We're
No.
pretty close.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely connect with that. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep speaking out for your daughter and being her voice.
I will. And you do the same for your brother. And I so thank you for sharing this platform for me to tell my daughter's story. I truly appreciate, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Well, I'm going to close up. So for those watching, this is episode 34 out of our series. We will be continuing in through 2020 to the end of 2020. We'll have a whole library of these episodes of families sharing their stories. And today we got to talk about Gabby Nevarez, who was killed by Citrus Heights PD. And her mother joined us to share. So, okay, thank you. And everybody have a good day or whenever they watch it. All
Thank
right.
you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.